Welcome to the Positive Gene Podcast. My name is Sara Kavanaugh. This is a podcast empowering cancer previvors and survivors, like myself, over our hereditary cancer risk. I started this podcast because I had so many questions after receiving my genetic testing results and not only wanted, but needed to truly understand what it meant to have an inherited cancer mutation. We will discuss important topics from a patient perspective, like finding credible online resources, opportunities connecting with others for support, and building your medical team, and so much more. Thank you for allowing me to use my God-given talent for talking, researching, and all things communications. We're all in this together, and I'm so thankful for your support. Let's dive in. Welcome to the Positive Gene Podcast. I'm your host, Sara Kavanaugh. Today, I want to address something that's been weighing heavily on my heart. In a couple of support groups I belong, I've seen several posts from people who are feeling scared and alone after receiving their genetic testing results. They're grappling with uncertainty, not sure how to discuss their feelings with family or friends, and are understandably worried about what the future holds. So we're going to talk about moving from panic to peace, navigating our emotional journey after receiving your genetic testing results. If you've recently learned that you carry a genetic mutation linked to cancer, it's natural to feel overwhelmed, scared, worried, or even panicked. But understanding is the first step to resilience. In fact, I want you to remember you have the strength, adaptability, and the ability to recover from difficulties. Today's episode is all about transforming fear into proactive empowerment. My goal is to focus on your personal empowerment and self-care, encouraging you to take ownership of your journey in a way that's respectful of your emotions and mindful of your unique situation. And before we get started, I just want to remind you I am not a medical expert. My insights come from my personal journey as a hereditary cancer previvor and advocate. This podcast is here to share experiences and knowledge, but please always consult with your healthcare professionals for your health decisions. First, let's address the initial reaction: panic. It's normal to feel scared, but remember, stressing out won't change your results. It's about controlling the controllables. Plan to meet with your doctor, assemble your medical team, and research your specific mutation. Now, if this seems like a daunting task, and trust me, I've been where you are. So if you're not sure where to start, I'd suggest going to the Force website at facingourrisk.org, and they have a tab titled, "I tested positive, now what?" It's a great resource. Now, if you find your mind racing, remember those distractions we discussed in our last episode? So we discussed spending time with loved ones, delving into a good book, watching your favorite show on Netflix, or taking a peaceful walk. Even journaling your feelings can be incredibly therapeutic. So for those who are like me, you may find comfort in research. Delve into credible sources about your diagnosis, whether reading articles or watching informative videos. Understanding your condition can give you a sense of control and clarity. Now, I'll provide several recommendations in the show notes, or you can go to my blog at sarakavanaugh.com for more information. Another crucial step is focusing on healthy choices. Good rest and nutrition are not just beneficial for your physical health, they also enhance your emotional well-being. If you're like me, it's tempting to succumb to stress eating. I do love my carbs and my sweets, but just remember how much better you feel when you nourish your body. And remember to focus on what brings you joy and purpose. I have a friend who learned how to sew recently, and she's found it helpful mentally, and she uses her new talent to give back to friends in the community. This simple activity gives joy and purpose, and in the spirit of the holidays, think about what you can do today that brings you joy and purpose. Lastly, you can also reflect on your past challenges that you've overcome, whether it was facing a loss, overcoming a physical injury, or climbing Mount Everest. Whatever it is, remember, those moments of resilience define us. Now, I know there's a lot to think about, and you don't have to take all these suggestions and do it all at once. Just start with one step today and add another next week. You're in control of your pace. What's important is that you keep moving forward at a rate that feels right for you. I'm not saying you need to ignore your diagnosis or succumb to the idea that, oh, there's nothing I can do. Instead, I'm suggesting embracing your journey with mindful awareness and self-compassion. It's about acknowledging your feelings, empowering yourself through informed choices, and just finding balance in your life. In fact, I'd encourage you to listen to my episode, Reclaiming Control, Defining Empowerment in the Wake of Hereditary Cancer Risk. And that's about advocating for your well-being and health. My life changed on September 7th, 2022, when I received my diagnosis of Lynch syndrome and CHEK2 mutations. Admittedly, it took a while to reach this point, but I have since embraced the adage, knowledge is power. This journey has deepened my faith in spirituality, which has been a source of emotional and physical strength. Now, if you're struggling, it's okay to ask for help. Consult your doctor, contact a therapist or a genetic counselor, or connect with peer navigators and support groups through organizations like Force, Alive and Kickin', and the Komen Support Resources. You're not alone in this. My own journey, over a year since my diagnosis, has had its ups and downs. Physically, with a thyroid cancer scare and multiple surgeries, including one that has put me into surgical menopause. Emotionally, with the realization that life will never be the same, but it's also brought a supportive medical team, a community of friends and closeness with family, and a wealth of knowledge that I am now sharing with you. We may not have all the answers, but together, we can turn a difficult situation into a journey of empowerment and self-discovery. So in closing, I want to thank you for joining me on the Positive Gene podcast. Please reach out if you have any experiences or even tips that you'd like to share, or if you want more information on resources. You can find additional support and details on my website at sarakavanaugh.com or on Instagram at Positive Gene Podcast. Remember, you've got this. It's not an overnight journey, but step by step, we can navigate this path together. Until next time, stay informed, stay empowered, and remember, you have the strength to navigate your journey positively. Thank you for spending time with me on the Positive Gene podcast. Your support means everything. If you found value in today's episode, I would be so grateful if you could take a moment to rate and review the podcast. It truly makes a difference. For an in-depth look and links to resources discussed today, check out the accompanying blog on my website at sarakavanaugh.com.